Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. I have been doing YouTube for relatively a long time. I think we've done 4 going on 5 years now, which is ridiculous. That's like half a decade. But throughout all that time on YouTube, there's one period of time that really stands out to me as the golden age of the channel. And that is the period from August of 2017 to August of 2018. That's when I consider the golden age, because whenever I go back and rewatch my videos, I almost always rewatch videos from that time period, because the videos from that time period I think are the best. For some reason, those videos have me at full power, full energy, a lot of jokes that are hidden, a lot of jokes that are hilarious, a lot of jokes that are funny. Yeah, I just called my own jokes hilarious. What are you gonna do, sue me? Come at me. You don't know me. And ultimately, a lot more variety on the channel. Now, how did the golden age, what I call the golden age, do, besides just the quality of content? Well, that was the time period where we were like ricocheting down a cliff. Ricocheting's not the right word here. Where we were just plummeting down a cliffside, because about a quarter of the way into the golden age was when I stopped doing Transformers content. Could have done that a better way, but besides the death of Transformers content on this channel, the content I made during the golden age I always thought of as sort of my favorite content. And heck, the beginning of the golden age was at my height of this channel's history at around 6,900 subscribers, which we're growing right now, but we still haven't reached our peak as to what we were before we dropped Transformers lore. So I've been sitting around thinking, like I usually do, thinking about, I want the golden age back. I want that energy back. I want to feed off that energy again. And so I have created a new plan to bring back the golden age. I haven't written this down. This has all been ideas in my head, so this might seem a little bit scatterbrained. But I want to outline my plan to you guys, because I always believe in being transparent with the creative process. So look at it this way. All the YouTubers I don't necessarily like because of their content. I watch them because I'm invested in their narrative. I'm interested in what they're doing as a person. You know, I know nothing about cars, but I watched this one YouTuber I like. I watched a 40-minute video of him getting a new car and talking about his history with cars, and that's just because I like that YouTuber. So that's sort of the audience I want to cultivate, because I don't look at YouTube as, oh, this dude makes these videos. I look at it as, oh, I like this dude. His personality, I sort of like people like that, so I want to watch people like that, regardless of what they're doing. What they're doing usually helps me discovering them, but I don't really... I think a lot of people look at YouTubers as, oh, this is a such-and-such YouTuber, this is a Star Wars YouTuber, this is an anime YouTuber. I don't really think of YouTubers like that, I just watch it for them. I think that's a big disconnect between me and most people who watch YouTube. What was the point? What did I bring that up? I can't remember. But the point I wanted to bring up was variety. The Commander Radix channel has a lot of variety on it, but there was a special type of variety going on in the 2017 to 2018 era. I did a lot more one-shot game videos back then. I had Katawa Shoujo at that time, which was my long-running Let's Play series that I think is a classic, especially once you reach the point where I introduce putting little intros at the beginning of all my videos, like edited intros. A lot of my gaming videos would have featured some sort of outside narration that I would have to go back in and do, and sort of build a plot line out of the story that I recorded. Out of that variety, I think there was a lot of creativity. Now, games started to stop popping up on the channel due to the fact that my laptop all of a sudden just couldn't run games like it used to. But now I have the RAD computer, and oh, I'm so sorry. With the RAD computer, I can record games. Now the problem isn't so much that I needing to be able to record games. I can now record games, but I've fallen out of practice because of how long I haven't been able to record games. It's been a while since I've recaptured the style of Commander Radix game videos, because if you're a long-time viewer of the channel, you know that my old gaming videos had their own particular flavor to them that was unique to most other people who do game videos on YouTube. my goal with this diversification of content is to bring that style of Let's Play video back. And at the time of recording, my Skyrim video should have come out yesterday, I think. How did you guys like that? I hope you liked it, because I have no way to gauge the metric for it right now since it isn't released to the public yet. But I am very proud of that video. There's like a few bits where I thought I cut out, but I didn't actually cut out, so that's a mistake. But besides that, especially like the beginning and how I intersplice the previous in-game day into the modern day of in-game. A lot of storyboarding, I guess. I went back to doing storyboarding, which is something I used to do that I haven't been doing for a while. But I went back to the storyboarding style of editing for this new Skyrim video. So I hope that sort of recaptured that energy. I don't even know how many of you people were here during the Golden Age to remember this. The Golden Age, at the start of the Golden Age, my name was Primus Prime 22, and I was doing Transformers lore a bit more regularly. By the end of the Golden Age, my name was Commander Radix, and Transformers was off the table. But now what I want to do with the diversification of content is have all the stuff that I did during the Golden Age, including Transformers lore. We aren't tossing Transformers lore off a cliff like we did last time. Transformers lore will still be here. My mistake last time was throwing out the marketable show on this channel and expecting everyone to be part of the cult. The strategy is to put out the marketable stuff and then bring people into the cult with the marketable stuff, because it's not going to work any other way. Now, in the diversification of content, there's a few stuff that I am not necessarily canceling, but postponing indefinitely. First of all, the Primus Academy World History series. Those videos, it's hard to gauge how well that show would have done, because the first two videos I am very unenthused about, because the first two videos are about, oh, there are hunter-gatherers, and then some of them have horses and aren't hunter-gatherers. And then sometimes they make towns, and sometimes they make cities. It's like 2 videos of that. You know, I don't... Like, I like it in so much that it's history, and I like history, but I like hearing more events than just vague, and around this time period of a ridiculously large number of years ago, that you won't be able to remember it. These guys figured out how to use shells as axes, which, you know, is fascinating, but it doesn't keep me gripped that long. Which is unfortunate, because the 3rd episode of the World History would get into Sumerian culture, and that's where things start to pick up. So I will leave it open to continuing that series, but for now that series is postponed. I think it's gone to the point where when I think of Primus Academy, I think of that World History series, and that World History series wasn't my best work, and frankly didn't get a lot of views, didn't get a lot of attention, was kind of a lot of work for something that nobody cared about. During the Golden Age, Primus Academy was, instead of like, let's say the World History was like a machine gun volley, like drrrr. Back during the Golden Age, Primus Academy was a very methodical, I'll compare it to a sniper rifle. Like, I had an idea and then ping, boom, just very precision based. Bam, killed the target, if you know what I mean. There were 3, arguably like 4 or 5, Primus Academy videos during the Golden Age that those videos did very well, besides the How World War II Started video. But the Izanagi Izanami video and the Assassin's Creed Plague Doctor videos did very well, and they were much more to the point, I think. So I need to get back to doing Primus Academy in that style of video. I do have a few Primus Academy videos planned. We'll see if I ever get around to doing them. I'm hoping to set aside more time in my day for scripting, stuff like that, and researching. And it's not to say that I haven't stopped doing historical research. I certainly have. It's just, I've recently read Okinawa, A History of an Island People, and now I'm reading a biography of Andrew Jackson. So maybe you'll see some Andrew Jackson stuff pop up soon. The cooking show that I wanted to do, currently on hiatus, because if you watched the previous Rad Cave episode, I explained why. Basically, I lost the footage, and it was just a terrible process because of all of the technical difficulties. I am so demoralized and tired of doing it, even though no video has come out of it because all the files disappear and stuff like that. that I'm going to give it a while before I do that. I don't need to have it weighing in the back of my mind that, oh, I said I was going to do this cooking video. Why haven't I done it yet? And then just get stressed out about it. That tossed out the window. I'll do it once I feel like doing it. Let's talk about Advice God. I like the format of telling a trilogy of stories. There's a few episodes, a few series on my channel that are just 3 episodes, just a very concise trilogy. For example, the main Mount and Blade Warband Napoleonic Wars series was a concise trilogy of videos, even though there's an expanded universe around that. Advice God, which was one of the main series from the Golden Age, only had 2 episodes, and I think it would be fitting to have a trilogy. Here's the thing, I'm unsure where to go with the main story. The main story of Advice God was me trying to become a god. You know, typical YouTube stuff. The first episode ended with me ascending into the divine realm, and then the second episode ended with me coming back, because I was rejected because I didn't know the law. And then at the end of that video, I proved that I did know the law, and snapped myself back into the divine realm. I'm not sure where to take the story from there, because, for one, you don't see the divine realm, in part to add to the mysteriousness of it, and in part because of technical difficulties. If I had a green screen, maybe I'd do something. So we can't really go to the divine realm. Episode 3 would have to be me coming back to Earth, but why would I, when I was just told previously that the reason I was kicked out was because not knowing the law. Now I know the law, that parameter has been met, go back to the divine realm. Theoretically, it ends perfectly just fine there. The assumption is that I became a god because I proved myself. And especially lately, I've been trying to think of how to do another Advice God, and I know, there's several other giving bad marriage advice on Yahoo Answers, giving bad psychological advice on Yahoo Answers. There's a lot of stuff I could do on Yahoo Answers, but it's the main story, the overarching plot of it, that sort of frames the whole meme of it, that I don't know how to continue naturally. And until I can figure something out about that, I'm going to have to put that on the back burner. That's a project that's going to have to wait until something comes to me, because I've been looking for something, and it just hasn't hit me yet, so now I need to wait for it to hit me. But what stuff will continue on the channel? Transformers lore, Transformers more lore, community comments, my Q&A series. Primus Plays will be not only continuing, but should be becoming more frequent with uploads. I want to do more weird one-shots with strange video games. I want to do a lot of the content I used to do. My tagline on the Lazy KOALAS Discord server says, "Does anime dating games?" And you know what? That hasn't been true since 2017, so I need to do another one of those at some point. The problem is finding a visual novel that has a sufficient amount of choices for it to be interesting, that is appropriate for YouTube, and won't get me copyright claimed, because a lot of visual novels do copyright claims. That's why I did Katawa Shoujo. I was kind of banking on Music Box Studios is making a sequel to Katawa Shoujo, or a spiritual successor to Katawa Shoujo, but they've been taking 5, 6, 7 years on it, so I need to stop holding my breath on that. I need to go out and find something new. And I have an idea, but we'll have to see how far that goes. So I want to do another visual novel, I want to do more one-shot weird videos, and the Radius Saga, my Skyrim series, should become a more regular series on this channel. In fact, I'm planning for it to come out on Thursdays or Tuesdays. I want it to be a weekly series. Primus Academy will continue. Comics Are Weird will continue. Comics Are Awesome, I'm not so sure, because it's very hard to make it's easier to click on something and laugh at a weird comic than it is to find, this comic's really good, guys. It's more engaging to laugh at weirdness. But Comics Are Weird will definitely continue. Comics Are Awesome still exist in theory. I want to bring back more commentary videos. I did a lot more commentary videos back in the day, back during the Golden Age. Transformers Talk will continue, of course, and that's sort of my Transformers branded commentary videos. The comic videos for Rom Dire Wraiths, G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Transformers Galaxies will continue. I'm currently trying to catch up with the All-American Hero, Real American Hero G.I. Joe comic, so I can catch up with the current issues of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. You know, the ones that actually exist in the multiverse, so I can review those on a week-by-week basis. or a month-by-month basis. The Rad Cave will continue. Commander's Cabin will continue. I might do some changes to Commander's Cabin, basically in so much as that it will be video and audio, like it will be on me, in which case it might fully replace Commander's Cabin. We'll see. There are some things that I just, in my heart, feel like that's a Commander's Cabin subject, and that's a Rad Cave subject. I just don't know how to explain how my heart feels a subject belongs in one or the other. Lazy Koala's podcast will continue, just when I figure out how to wrangle the Lazy Koalas. One of them came up with an idea that was good for a podcast and said, who's up for that? And I said, I'm up for that, and then nobody said anything. That was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I'm going to have to start dragging them back to the podcast again. I will do solo Lazy Koala podcast if I have to. Don't bring it to that. Video games with the Lazy Koalas will continue. I want to bring back some collaboration with the koalas that I used to do. For example, having them voice over stuff in Transformers lore videos. Anime videos are theoretically still a thing. I'm just having trouble finding topics to talk about. And frankly, it's hard to make anime videos when anime is a heavily copyrighted thing on YouTube. Battlefield 1942 is a show that I want to bring back. You know, it's like one of those shows that was from the 90s that got canceled, and now they're making a new season, continuing it on in 2018 or whatever. I want to bring back Battlefield 1942. Not because I ever thought I canceled it, it's because I realized it's been like 2 or 3 years since the last episode, and I want to bring that back. There is a Europa Universalis 3 series in the works right now, with Ultrox Infinity. It's a multiplayer series. God, I do a lot on this channel. I want to do live streams more regularly, but we have to see how that goes down. I'm not sure how we can do that, considering the time issue. I'm considering bringing back the Transformers Lore podcast, at the very least to finish covering Beast Wars Uprising, but I think because the style of Transformers Lore has changed, I might not do it as a podcast and do that like with a camera and talk about it. But Beast Wars Uprising, I do intend to continue talking about on this channel. Let's see, looking at my spreadsheet of ideas, I have a list of Transformers Talk videos, a reminder to do the comic reviews, and Transformers Lore, Primus Academy. Some more mythology stuff. I want to do a Primus Academy video on the Amaterasu story with the cave. Lazy Koalas podcast, games with the koalas, some rambling thoughts, videos on anime, some other otaku commentary is the name of the series. Rad Cave, Commander's Cabin, Kalamos Mythos audiobooks. Let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in more Kalamos Mythos audiobooks, because the last Kalamos Mythos audiobook I did was like the most well-performing video of the month or something, but I don't think anybody really commented on it, so I really don't know how the reception is to that. So I don't know if anyone's really interested in any more Kalamos Mythos audiobooks. So yeah, we're coming back full steam ahead. We want to recapture that golden age. I realize that this has all been talking about one point, which is the diversification of content. Point 2, editing. So, editing has been a bit on the lighter side, relatively speaking, since the end of the golden age, and I think I'm understanding more the value of editing. It's not like some sort of magical quality indicator, but I do think certain styles of content lend themselves to more editing than others. At the very least, basically, I want to bring back the intros I've previously done, and I've been looking at the golden age. Today when I edit stuff, I'm like, can I really do an intro to this? Nah, it's just a commentary thing. You really can't do anything with that. And then I look at my Golden Age videos and I realize I put an aesthetic intro at the beginning of almost every video. And I'm like, okay, so why did I have creativity back then but not now? So aesthetic intros, like you probably saw at the beginning of this video, are back, and they are back with a vengeance. Check out the new Skyrim video for more examples of my aesthetic editing. Point 3, fan engagement. Lately, as I've mentioned in the most recent Commander's Cabin podcast episode, comments have been bad. And I have a very negative opinion of comments right now. But I think that's because I look at the bad ones and focus on the bad ones, which have been increasing in volume simply because I've had an increase in views because I have an increase in content uploading daily. I need to pay attention more to the comments that aren't crappy. So I've stopped liking comments. I need to get back to liking comments that I like. I need to get back to responding to comments, or at least responding to comments to people who I think are are sane that deserve being replied to in the comment section, because there are plenty of them there. You know, when someone says a point that I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea, what I previously do is I look at my comments, see someone make a point that I agree with, like, oh yeah, that's a good point, and then just continue scrolling and see someone who I hate, and I'm like, oh god, that's a terrible comment. What I need to do is take the time, you know, like that comment I like, and respond, hey man, that's a good point. Because I do want to foster more of an engagement with the audience, like we had during the Golden Age, up until the final days of the Golden Age. Oh, let's rewind back to editing. Music. My last few videos, I've just stuck this 30-minute audio file that's a mix of lo-fi music and just stuck it onto the music as like a template, as a placeholder, but then still kept it when the video came out. But the Golden Age always had like specific new lo-fi music, and I spent like half a day earlier this week downloading as much music as I could. We're going to bring back that aesthetic. Basically, here's the bottom line of it. The Commander Radix channel has lost its aesthetic, and we need to bring that back. The Golden Age was more of a depressed boy trying to see the light in things, while the current age is more of an insane madman in weird sunglasses and a Snuggie, just going all full nihilism, full on insane. We need to find a happy medium between those two. The current age, it feels like a lot of bitterness, and there's a lot of arrogance that's meant to be a meme, but sometimes I think I take it a bit too far. While Golden Age Sad Boy Primus felt like someone, frankly, someone that people could relate to a bit more, and maybe a bit more approachable. Maybe a bit too approachable, so we need to find some sort of happy medium between those two. But yes, better editing, or at least more streamlined editing, more of a house style for this channel will emerge for editing. That's a lot more like the Golden Age. We're redeveloping fan response, we're re-diversifying the content on the channel so it's more balanced, trying to improve fan engagement with all you commenters out there, and ultimately trying to create a second Golden Age. Will you join me on this quest for a second Golden Age? Because together we can rule the galaxy as father and son. Because together we can make this channel better than it's ever been before. I know it, you know it, the American people know it. Believe me, nobody makes videos better than I do. I will be the best videos president that God has ever made. So yeah. Golden Age 2, Electric Boogaloo, let's go. I am pumped, you are pumped, I hope so. I really hope that Skyrim video did well, or at least comparatively well, and didn't get like 20 views, because that's supposed to be like my spearhead to bring back the Golden Age. So yeah, check out my description for all my social media links so you can join the whole system that this channel exists within, and watch as the Golden Age like re-nourishes this community in a similar way as water helps a dehydrated person. Consider supporting me on Patreon if you want to see this project we call the Commander Radix channel succeed. There's a lot of benefits there, including a new benefit. Some older videos are now available on Patreon that I need to make a video about. And you can see all my videos for this new Golden Age early access on Patreon, so go check that out. And yeah, that about covers it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. See you next time. Huge thanks to our patrons, including this month's $10 plus patron, Josh Adkins. Check out the description for more patrons and more info about how you can receive a shout out here.
You said let's get a drink, so we got caffeine. Coffee in a cup, kept breathing out steam. Sitting by the window, talking about dreams, or watching outside, people stepping